Hey gang, welcome back! If you're new to the show, I'm Chester McCreepy, I'm a haunted dummy, and I live in a closet full of VHS tapes. Today we're going to talk about Lifeforce in a review, or I may go back and do a point-by-point retrospective. Those videos take a lot longer, so we'll just have to see how that goes. Lifeforce is a 1985 film from the Cannon Group, a science fiction horror romp that aimed to be a big blockbuster, but it sort of flopped. It starts off with a space mission gone awry when they find an ancient spacecraft hidden in the tail of Halley's Comet.
Hidden in the
Are you sure you want to say hidden?
Tell them it's located in the head of the comet.
The ship is filled with giant bat monsters and naked girls, and they decide to pack some up and take them home.
Churchill. I said we found a young girl.
Girl? You mean human?
Definitely humanoid.
I'd say she's perfect. I've been in space for 6 months, and she looks perfect to me.
Upon returning to Earth, the space girl wakes up and starts sucking people's souls out through their face. And it's up to the UK's top government agencies and a rogue American astronaut to save the world. The film is based on a novel called Space Vampires, which would be the easiest way to sum up the plot in 2 words. Producers Yoram Globus and Mannheim Gorham were more known for their low-budget schlock, but they were really trying to step up their game with this one, and they changed the name to Lifeforce to sound more serious. To adapt Colin Wilson's book, they brought on Dan O'Bannon, the screenwriter for Alien, and hired Toby Texas Chainsaw Hooper to direct. Hooper was fresh off the reins of iconic horror film Poltergeist and excited to take on a big science fiction picture with an A-lister like Dan O'Bannon. Both Toby Hooper and Dan O'Bannon were fans of that slow burn suspense build, and they worked really well together. Unfortunately, Cannon didn't think that would play well for American audiences, and about 20 minutes of the space mission got cut out and reduced to a flashback. And this is unfortunate because there was a lot of good stuff here. More behind-the-scenes players include production designer John Graysmark, visual effects guru John Dykstra, and prop master Nick Malley. Production design is the overall look and feel of a movie's world. For instance, in this flick, the alien ship was based on an artichoke so that it just wouldn't look like a human design. Production designers and their art teams are often the unsung heroes of genre film, so let's give a shout out to those guys in general. Dykstra was really key to the science fiction vampire aspect of the horror. He was a wizard with lighting and camera trickery to accent the animated electricity bolts, really selling the effect. Remember, this is way before CGI. This stuff is all hand-painted optical compositing. Dykstra's team was almost the whole crew from 2001: A Space Odyssey. These were really top-notch special effects for their day. We also get some really amazing puppets from prop master Nick Malley, and this guy would be most well known for Magic Frog Wizard Master Yoda, but he considers his Lifeforce victims to be his best work. As a puppet myself, I have a lot of respect for this guy. Malley's special makeup effects alone are worth watching the film. Well, there's some other stuff too.
We've located the girl in the main lobby.
But we all love that pre-CGI practical effect movie magic. That's what makes these old school movies the best. Steve Railsback plays the astronaut mission leader who winds up the psychic love slave of the space vampire, so eventually defeating her becomes his personal vendetta. Railsback captured Toby Hooper's attention playing criminal Charles Manson in Helter Skelter, and the lead role in a flick called Stuntman.
What I remember next is a view out of the observation window, coming into Earth's orbit. I couldn't expose the world to what we'd brought back with us. The female lead, known in the film only as Space
Space Girl is played by Matilda May. And yowzers! Casting Space Girl was no easy task. The role called for full body nudity for the entire duration of the film. May had a background in ballet that translated into Space Girl having a sort of otherworldly grace, reminiscent of the classic Dracula sort of floating on his feet. May, only 19 at the time, was convinced by her agent to take the role, sure that it would be her big break. She had done some French productions, but didn't even speak English at the time and had to learn her lines phonetically.
Because you're one of us. You always have been. You're like me. Be with me.
Filming was also done in the middle of a blistering English winter. Toby Hooper almost lost an ear to frostbite one night, and this poor kid had to be butt-ass naked the whole time. Take this shot, for instance. She's got rubber soles glued to her feet so she don't cut it up on the glass, and it's freezing outside. There's actually a PA hidden behind this tree with a heavy blanket so she doesn't freeze to death out there. Some other notable European actors round out the cast, like Peter Firth and Frank Finlay. These guys are pretty big names in the UK. Firth is actually still rocking it in Britain, playing similar characters in BBC shows like Spooks and MI5.
I'm Colonel Kane.
From the SAS?
Gentlemen, that last remark is not for publication. This is a D-notice situation.
Finlay's character is actually supposed to be German, but they don't have him do an accent so as not to confuse May's phonetic script memorization.
Dr. Hans Fallada, Sir Percy Heseltine, the Home Secretary.
You're just in time. It's exactly 2 hours.
The most notable supporting cast member, I would say, is Patrick Stewart. Old Captain Picard considers this sort of a pockmark on his career, stating, "Sometimes you just need a paycheck."
He's in solitary confinement. He's been naughty. Look, what is this about?
Though he does consider it his first on-screen kiss with Steve Railsback. Let me go! Let me go. He also has one of the most metal death scenes you will ever see. Get to Stewart, they're nearing the end of the film, and the shit is really hitting the fan in London. Fortunately, the not German has apparently become an alien vampire anatomy expert while the rest of the gang was away.
How did you kill him, Fallada? How?
The old way, Carlson. A leaded metal shaft penetrating not through the heart, but through the energy center 2 inches below the heart. Not steel, but leaded iron.
And Peter Firth becomes our knight in shining earth tones. From here, you have your usual happy ending. Spoiler alert! Just kidding. Colonel Carlson gets the shaft of both a sword and a beam of light from an alien ship's tractor beam, leaving us with sort of an ambiguous ending. Did they win? Or will the space vampires return the next time Halley's Comet loops around? Who knows? Maybe that leaves a good setup for one of those 30-year-later sequels that are so popular right now. Maybe one of you dorks can start a petition or something. Anyway, let's get to that checklist. You've got spaceships. I know you nerds love spaceships. Vampires. It's kind of sort of a Dracula reboot with tits. A solid story. It's full of a lot of Dracula parallels, really, bringing her back in their own ship. The mind control stuff, you can compare that for yourself. Boobies. Again, she is naked for the entire movie. Science fiction horror always makes for a good mashup. The old school special effects, These were the glory days of movie magic, and this is what we really love. More boobies! Seriously. The entire movie. Captain Picard. Always a delight. Zombies, for some reason. Honestly, I don't really care for the zombies at the end. They don't really fit with the lore established early on in the film. And you got all the staples that make a movie fun, like shoot-em-ups and explosions and blood and guts and all that jazz. I give this one 3.5 chest stars. Parts of it drag a little, and the zombies at the end really don't make any f***ing sense, and they kind of bug me. But other than that, it is a lot of fun. It really is a must-see at least once. If you've never seen it before, look it up and check it out. Tell me what you think. And I'll try and be back soon with another VHS Retro Rewind review on Chester's Closet Classics. If you enjoyed watching this, give me money.